So basically, let me explain it for you. It's basically how the Overwatch, how every fight in Overwatch starts, or like Warbox. It's really in general. Like you always have a start and a rollout, posturing phase, which is like getting informations, poking, positioning yourself, and at some point, for example, think about a dive, Sombra Genji dive. You get an opportunity. In this case, mostly the opportunity is like positioning or like a hack from the Sombra. So you force basically an opportunity. After this, you have an engagement, and in this engagement, you kill people to win. And then you have like the soft reset. For example, if a Zenyatta or something is out of position, you dive him, and after this, you can go back to like posturing phase. You wait for your cooldowns, you wait for a dash, you wait for your jump cooldowns for defense medics and stuff. So you may basically make a soft reset, and after this, you can go for another opportunity, which would be the 5 vs 6 situation, and you go for the engage again. Hard reset with something like Ghost, for example. If the Reinhardt is dead, then you only have the option to like all into them or like just hard reset and jump off the map. So if you think about our Risa or like our May Reaper composition, where do we want to exist basically most of the time?
Point.
Point.
Yeah,
Close-
but I mean
close
like in this.
quarters.
Oh, you want to be in
Do you mean like in that actual flowchart? What point should we be at the most?
Yeah.
engage?
Yeah, pretty much
Exactly.
almost always
Yeah.
engage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
Like
you think
W key.
where does for example double sniper want to exist?
Posture.
Posture, like the poke
Yeah.
area.
Exactly. So this is really important for you to understand that there is no like what you want to do. It's like goats, and like goats, you do like this. You skip basically the posture phase. You go right to the engagement. The opportunity mostly is that you force point, like objective pressure, and this gives you the opportunity for engagement. But you don't poke, not at all. Like there's not any single point in time where you really want to like fight sniper or anything. You just force them to come to you. So basically, this is our win condition, pressure to point. So if we go now over like what the actual heroes do, like what do you think is or how can I ask for this?
Can I answer this one? I think I know what you're asking.
Like the objective of a character, like what are they supposed to fulfill
What
with
each
their job?
person is
Yeah.
supposed to be doing.
Yeah, like fulfilling it with their job. Yeah.
Right. So basically, right. This is my understanding. What we do at the start of every single fight is say, like just imagine we're in Hollywood, like Hollywood attacking first, right? I'm just hypothetical. We use because as a comp we're gonna be doing. Say let's do Orisa, D.Va, May Reaper, Lucio, Moira, right? Would that be the comp?
Maybe
If we're just assuming that was it.
Yeah.
Would it be Orisa D.Va, yeah, as the tanks, or would it be Orisa Sigma?
Against what?
Against just a mirror comp, like which which
Yeah,
one do
the
you think
D.Va.
we'd be running more? Which one do you
The
think we'd
D.Va,
be
because the
running?
D.Va takes care of the Reaper.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it would just the goal of Lucio would just be to get the Orisa to the point, the Orisa and the May to the point. The D.Va is to DM us in so that we can actually get there and have the shield on the point, and then to take high ground from any potential snipers. Say if they weren't running a mirror comp, but let's just say they are. The Orisa obviously shield tank. She's there to protect the team, make sure no one dies, displace enemy supports and shit like that, right? The DPS I don't fucking know because I'm not a DPS player, so I'll let someone else say that.
I think
I'll let someone else say that part. If anyone else wants to say what the DPS would do in that comp.
If we talk Hollywood specific,
Yeah, I'm just using it as an example.
wouldn't it be better if we go left side around so we can close the angles the enemy can take? Because if we go to the big map on the left, we have a smaller area to defend and we have a corner to fall back to. And there's
thing is-
really going to be a flank.
The thing is, talking so specific is not that easy, especially now like this, because if you don't have a replay or any situation, you don't like it. Also, like what you said with rollouts, you wanted to practice your rollouts. I was really curious what you meant with this because you don't really have a rollout with this composition, because you have your general objective, what you want to do, like you want to force them onto point.
Hello?
Hello? Your
Yo?
thing lagging.
No.
Yeah.
I think he died.
Oh, he's been
Oh.
Thanos. Holy
I think
shit.
he died.
So what you
Did
doing?
it? Thor got Thanos snapped.
Oh,
GG's.
lucky.
Yes. He died.
He disconnected.
Happy hands.
Guys, look, he disconnected.
That's connected. Oh no, dude.
Dude,
That's
that
unfortunate.
Dude, imagine
Let-
that Joey just is like, so you talking about superheroes? Okay, champ, dude.
Who wants
Yeah.
to 1v1 while we wait?
Oh my god.
Me.
no.
That's
So-
bad.
I
Oh,
Oh,
he's
he's
back,
back,
we're back,
he's
we're
back,
back, we're
he's
back.
Oh,
disconnected,
okay,
dude.
okay.
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 Dude, I got so excited. I saw the map and I'm like, oh yes, it's professional. And you just immediately just stopped talking. I was like,
so
oh.
can you hear me now?
You were
Yeah.
hearing now, yeah. You disconnected as soon as you pulled up the map overlay, so we haven't heard any of that.
Okay.
Just restart.
Just- Why did I not zoom in? What the hell? Okay, like the thing is, what I want to say is that with the Reaper Moira composition, you really don't have that much of a rollout. What you have, for example, for example, a rollout would be for the Sombra when you play Sombra Genji dive. The Sombra rollout could be, okay, I always want to, don't know, get defense metrics to this show, and then I go this way, or scout or anything like this, you know, for example, or you go like this way and put the translocator. This would be a rollout for you because this will always change. Doesn't really matter what they play, especially with the defense metrics on this area. This is like your rollout. What you have with my Reaper, it's way more situational. Like if they're holding here, then what would you do? You would like what would you do if they have like a shield break composition or like a poke composition that holds on the high ground, like all six. Let's make it really simple. They're all six, like Orisa Hawk, Hanzo, Mei, Zenyatta, Baptiste. They're all holding there. What would you do?
Play close to the wall.
Going
You
to the
would
right.
Like this.
I would speed right.
No,
speed
no,
right.
to the
okay.
right, like round the
Wait,
wall.
did you say Diva?
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
okay.
they have Hawk. They have Hawk.
We could take over cafe.
Okay, they have
if we
hog. They have
speed
hog.
right.
If they have a hog, then we speed right and try and Orisa pull them away from the shield so we can.
Would we
do as
just
much
do
damage
the
as
goat
this
strat
way.
and go cafe? Yeah.
You could go the whole way around.
Okay.
I just meant speed through right rim and to try and take point. But that's just me being
Okay. Uh,
aggro.
and what would happen now if they basically don't know if they would hold here, like but they have this time or they hold here in general. Let's say like this, and they have the same compass make Reaper.
you could go behind left.
No, we just go
Murder.
for we just go straight and try and look for a wall.
Well, if they're running. What did you
Yes,
say?
mirror
Orisa Sigma?
composition.
They're
say.
they're mirroring us. Is that
Yeah.
what they're doing? Okay.
We just go through the
Um,
right room and try and look for a wall.
Yeah, I wouldn't
This
like. I
room.
would not use this room because they have also a Mei, so they
Yeah,
can
they
easily
could
Oh,
just
okay.
go
No,
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's a
somehow
main.
this. But you would basically what you want to do is you look for a fight. So your objective is always doesn't like what you notice with this is that your objective is always doesn't matter what the enemies are playing that much, that you want to pressure on the point somehow, like which way you can go or something doesn't really matter that much because there is not much to say for it. Obviously, as if you know, if you go this way, then you want to wall here, for example, so that they cannot hook. Maybe the Diva eats the pull or something. This way, you can wait here for the resources of the wall, and you go to a point is objective. But like, there is not real much of a rollout. So it's also when we talk about what does your Orisa wants to do, then it's also like you know because we want to say what does Orisa do, what does the Mei do and stuff. It's really situational because it depends on what the enemies have. Like you know if they have a Orisa Diva, then the Diva doesn't need to take care of the enemy pull for the Orisa. You know like or like if they have like I said if they have poke, then we can wall them so we can rotate like make the transition the rotation. But if they have a Orisa Mei, then it's completely something else. And I think it's not effective to go over now what like to over every character what we can do and what they can like if we can go really quickly about like the basics basically what you already also know is that the Orisa obviously if she wants to shield like what you want to do with your abilities that you shield your team you want to get close at me, like if this is the Orisa shield, then what you can do is you can put the Orisa shield here, for example, so that the Reaper can still go through the shield but is protected. You know, like here, the Reaper Mei, for example, and they are still protected, but they can't shoot the enemies in their face.
yeah.
In general, you want to protect them with the pull. Like I said, it's really situational. Also, with the pull, you want to mostly put them in a position where the Mei can wall, or like as a follow-up, for example. Here again, like if you push them, for example, they stay here, and we put the Mei wall now here, so it's open on both sides. So what you can do is that you look for okay, the Diva is now I guess maybe high ground or something. You try to not get your pull eaten from a Reaper, or maybe they don't have a Diva, then you try to pull them back here, because what will they rotate mostly back in these areas, and what you want to do is you can hold them so that they are still here in this area where your Reaper May could be effective, or where you can push them basically, where they may be split from the other team members that are standing in this area. So this could be one option, like one way how to use a pull. You can also use the pull to push them off the high ground, for example. Like there's so many different ways. Like going over everything now is really difficult. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we just look at like
Yeah.
our team, not against any other team, but just look at our team in a vacuum? As in, what ults would we be using? How would we cycle them? How would we synergize our
Yeah.
our cooldowns? That's what I want to look at mainly, because we still barely know anything about this comp. It's like new meta, new everything.
Okay. Yeah. This we can definitely do this. Yeah, with the cooldowns, like we already kind of talked about, like the reason with the shield and the hook, the hold. Divas depends also what, like Diva has so many options. Diva can do so many things. But what you mostly want to do, you want to, let's say, if you just focus on our team, that you want to help the Reaper to deal damage freely, or like in general, like support him and what he's doing, whatever he wants to do. As the Mei, it's all basically what your hard carry is the Reaper. So you all play around the Reaper. Like you sheet for the Reaper, you defense metrics for the Reaper, you freeze for the Reaper. This is basically the synergy you want to go, the Mei Reaper, because Mei can freeze them, they cannot run away, and the Reaper can just basically kill them. So what the Mei wants to do, she wants to wall them, split them in some case. Best case would be that you always kind of split the healers away. Let's go back to the map. Like what you want to wall is like if, for example, they are standing here as an Anna Sen, or I don't know anything, and the rest of the 4 players are standing here, then you want to make a wall like in this area, so that their healers cannot support you, and you go basically for the 6. It's way harder to split off the tanks. Obviously, if they overextend and the research extends here, you go for it, but depends on the level of the enemy teams you're playing. This shouldn't happen. So yeah, and then you obviously with your left click, you want to help the Reaper deal damage, or in general your whole team, to pick one target that you want to focus. For example, you can also easily with the left click focus the Orisa and force the Fortify. And then you tell us, okay, Orisa no Fortify, that means for the Reaper, as soon as the Reaper sees the Orisa, he just like all the bullets in her head, because she cannot do anything, and she's really easy target to get. She has a mobility, she has used her defensive cooldown, and she's like also a large target, so mostly the shotguns are really effective against this. Things like this. What you want to do as Mei is mostly, like what I see is that you usually never use right click. Like obviously, yeah, in a situation where you have to first ring frozen and stuff, but if you think about the Merc situation that they also have a D, then she can also eat your right click. So you want to really focus mostly on the left freeze them, and this would be like your participation in the fight. Like Ray is not here for the damage; it's mostly for the utility, like the wall, the left click, and with your shift you can also take angles where you're really effective, and they cannot really punish you because the shift makes you invincible, and then your team can just back you up. If we talk about like the Moira again, yeah. Moira Lucio, obviously Lucio is the speed boost, like in general, like the speed aura that helps in the heal aura, also like on the point engagements. Again, speed your Reaper that to be effective, and the Moira obviously heals. You can use, like, it really depends also on the situation if you want to like mostly use the damage orb or the heal. In a mirror, I would say mostly the heal orb, because again, you have enemy Diva, so she can maybe easily eat the damage orbs if you just throw them into them. Yeah, and then like it really depends on what the enemies are playing, if you want what you want. But obviously you want to heal the team. And also, like, I don't know, maybe some players don't know, if you play Moira, you actually want to heal before they can take damage, because you have like the Moira heals in 2 ways. Like you heal, I think 60 HP per second for 3 or like over 3 seconds or something. Like
Yeah, it lingers.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
like
and then
it's a
You can
hundred
turn it before
each.
you go on.
I think it's 100
Yeah.
lingering. Or like,
Exactly. So basically, you want to heal them. You want to tap everybody before the fight starts, so they already have healing ongoing.
wait, is
and
it
you
like
don't-
old honor where you have to wait before they take damage, or can you just heal them like old honor? Sorry, is it like new honor where you have to wait until they take damage before you can heal them, or is it like old honor
No,
where you
you
can
can
heal
just-
them before
you
and
can
then
just
it
tap.
lingers?
Hold on.
Oh, okay.
You can just tap
They,
them.
they just it
Whenever.
lingers. So like as soon as they do take damage, they immediately get healed, even though
Yeah,
you sprayed them
yeah.
like 2
Yeah,
seconds ago.
Yeah.
It's
So
good. Good.
So you can like
So-
pre-heal your monkey diva
Yeah,
if
yeah.
they jump in.
Okay.
Yep.
So and thinking now about the whole composition, what let's say like again, it's not. We just look at us, you know. We don't think about what they have. We don't think about what map. So in this perfect scenario or like this perfect theory of crafting, what we want to do is that the Risa pushes with the Diva and like into them basically. The Reaper or like the Mei usually wants to like if this is the enemy Risa shield, then the Mei wants to try to take an off angle to freeze them all. Like you know they all like what they focus on is obviously on the like on the shield and all in this direction is the focus of the damage focus also what they have depending on what composition they play. So if the Mei can take like let's say they play a mirror matchup and the Mei wants to take this off angle so she doesn't get this damage and like she from the other angle she's also protected with a shift so she can just make herself immune and then we can just rotate to her to defend and this obviously gives us a great way to freeze the enemies. And what the Reaper wants to do, he wants to take another angle again. Same example because they cannot focus, like especially think about a Diva or like yeah, the Diva defense metric is a good way to understand the whole team. Like think about the whole enemy team is one Diva defense metric. You can only focus the defense metrics in one action in one direction. Like you can defense metrics this way, or this way. And the same goes for the attention, the damage you usually have in a so if your Mei can take one off angle already, then they have to think about okay, you know, do I go for the Mei, then she will just shield, or do we go for the shield and stuff? As soon as we go for the Mei, we can also like this main compass like the Reset Diva can also push a little bit more. So basically it gives them way more pressure. And what the Reaper wants to do, he wants to takes another off angle again with the shield, like you know, again, like if they have a Diva, also Diva will most likely focus on this and this as well as the enemy Orisa with shield and stuff. Um, so he wants to take another offering, which could also be a lot of times from behind, like especially if you're with the shadows behind them, and you pressure them from this area. Like the moment they turn around to punish you, you have your shift to go out and come basically is in the safety of your shield and your team. But the other thing is the moment they turn around, your Mei and your whole front line gets so much more effective and you know you can get for freeze, you can do a lot of things, you can wall them and all of the stuff. I actually like looked for some example for something else, but we can maybe take an example from Overwatch League. Like we call it this from the VOD replay view for my team, but for like rotations. But oh wait, it's not this. But there's also a great example how to use abilities or like also ultimates later in the Mei Reaper fights. The other.
Okay.
Yeah, like if you have any questions, then ask always. You know, like if you want to say anything or anything is unclear, then always ask immediately. Yeah. So basically here they make like we look at New York obviously. Oh yeah. Okay. So I will just let it play, and you kind of take a look in your role where they position it, what actually what they want to accomplish or what they are doing. Like, it's obviously no sound, but it doesn't matter. And now they will lose this. So have you noticed something that stood out for you? Like anything where you were like surprised or anything where you were like, why are they doing this?
I mean, I don't think. I think I know why, but like, we're looking at. Are we looking at Excel?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
So
Like
they
they're playing the.
they didn't posture, but they just waited. They what's it? Is it? It's like not they're not poking, but they're just hiding behind the staircase. A lot of the time, I think they're just waiting for their cooldowns. Like a lot of the time, they were like for a long while they were either hiding behind the wall where they are now, or they're hiding behind the staircase to the left where your mouse is right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After
Like
they
here.
cycled their cooldowns.
It was just Diva Orisa there, and then the rest of them were hiding and waiting for
Yeah.
cooldowns. Then Lucio
And
jumped out really fast. Diva wasted her cooldown to bait up top and went straight back down. I think probably using defense matrix most probably.
exactly.
But
So
then Reaper teleported to the top and got high ground. So like they're there. Then they go to the stairs. Orisa Diva goes to the stairs. They wait like probably things maybe 2 seconds there. Yeah. And then,
any idea why they did this?
Is it just waiting
Like-
for cooldowns or sustain
Yeah.
sustain a HP or whatever?
This basically, yeah, exactly kind of this. Like what you can,
Yeah.
like what you see is here that also if you think about ability trading, they used right now a May wall. Like what is our goal with this composition? Like what do we want to do in this situation in general? Like what is our objective? Where do we want to how we want to engage this? Where do we want?
We want to
Yeah.
make sure that we don't get caught by pull hook because they got a roadhog, so we need to watch for the pull, the Orisa pull, and we
Yeah.
want to bait out their wall if we can, so that we can get a clean engage.
Okay, but tell me like an area where we want to go. Like what will be your approach in general? Like if they holding like this position. Maybe I also
We
asked
could
you.
contest the high ground at some point.
So is the May also on the high ground? Can we tell?
The base on the high ground, yeah. Base on the
Okay.
high ground. Okay, like maybe ask like my question was maybe a little bit like basically what we want to do with this composition. If you think about win condition, is we want to push in this area. We want to push on the point. We want to like force the Orisa out. We, you know, maybe punish this the Baptiste if possible, or like in general we want to take point control. Like what we want to do is we want to be in this area to force them to fight us close range, which we believe mostly like the Orisa. And this is our goal. This is the goal of New York here. And obviously Charge also knows this. So what they do in this moment, they're coming up, like, you know, they waited here for maybe cooldowns or but the moment they kind of peaked here and wanted to go obviously in this direction to have our win condition, what they did is that they walled, they even used Dragon and also like a hold hook combo, but doesn't connect, I guess, because of the Diva mode. But basically used like one ultimate and 2 cooldowns to force them off the point. So what New York is just saying, okay, we cannot push into the dragon, so we have to wait. But we can also not just stay here in the open and wait until like our shield breaks, because they have like a lot of shield break. They have Hog, Zenyatta, Hanzo,
yeah.
like so much damage, so they cannot really wait in the open. So what they are doing is okay, they say okay, they just waste basically or like end a ball, so we basically just hide, wait until this is over, and then we can push. Then they may use maybe hit the wall to cover them a little bit. I would say it's maybe too much, like wasn't needed is the question, because now it's the thing again, if you now push, we have now the shield again here, so if we push into this area right now, we don't have a wall, we don't have a shield, we cannot really sustain on this area. Or like when we cannot really push the Orisa, because as soon as we push the Orisa, 5 people will shoot us in the back. So what they need to do is they need to wait, they need to stay and wait for this cooldowns for the wall and for the shield most likely.
So the Diva tries to get them off high ground by using boosters, but then
Yeah.
Reaper goes up there and forces the Hog and May off high ground.
Yeah. So
in this comp, when they go for the halt hooks, would ideally the halt soon. So
yeah,
that
it's
you
Diva
Diva's.
would eat it, yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to waste like you especially against this. Like, do you know what the win condition of the enemy composition is?
Pull like
halt hook.
picks with the Hunt, or like shield break with the Hunt and then halt hooking, or some shit like that. Maybe Hunter
Halt
gets a
hook.
pick. Some shit.
Halt
It's
hook, yeah,
posture.
pick.
It's a lot of posture.
Like, yeah, poking.
Yeah.
So what they want to do is they want to play like the tanks want to give as much time as possible for the DPS, or like in general for our for the damage dealer, and they want to play on long range. The longer the range is better for them. So they don't want that they are coming close to enemy like New York. That's why they wall. That's why they dragon. All of this, and obviously they also want to play with the high ground, because from the high ground you can easily shoot behind the enemy shields and stuff. So I forgot why I said this, but yeah, this is like basically the win condition of them. So they don't want to push that much, or like push them here in this corner, because the moment they would push, they come to the close range, and they don't want this. They want to like let them like walk all the way. Yeah, now they engage basically now with the Lucio ult. Basically now they created themselves a situation where they have an advantage, so they want to push. You can also see like the Mei wall. What I meant with what the Mei wall wants to do, she wanted to help, like she wants to catch. Like this is basically your job as Mei. You want to take a target. In this case, you saw it. I don't know if the Lucy booped her. It was like really bad boop for Alamo in this case. But Mei wanted to wall the Risa or like force at least 45. And that's why there's this wall, and also like what's great is that it forces the Baptiste. But this is basically your job as Mei. You want to take a like you want to put somebody in position where you can freeze them, where you can like focus them down. Meanwhile, the Reaper, what I said, with his shadow step, you can also go in the backline and rest there. So they have to focus on two different angles. In this case, I would also say it's maybe a little bit late or something. Like if this wall would happen, But even like the thing is, even if the Orisa would get caught here, she's there fortify. So I guess like if she fortifies the Reaper, May will not kill her. No way. So because he knows it, maybe he goes to the high ground. I don't know, whatever they're calling. But it's like what is like? It's just about the principle, how you want to play this. They want to like they want to wait for cooldown. They use the cooldown to corner this, and the Reaper goes for flank because he knows he has to shift up, so he can. This is basically how you want to play this composition against not Mirror, but against a Sheeppick, or like in general, like how you want to take the pressure on the point. So now they have a pick. Now the whole objective of this composition is to play on range. So this whole talk is perfect because this pushes them all away. It's not about killing something or something. It's just time. The more time you get, like, if this goes on here for like 2 minutes, I think this composition will win, most likely, because they have like as long as they can keep them in range, they have way more damage on range. This is the win condition, the whole win condition of this point. So whole talk is just to stall them. And yeah, now it's like also like with the like they have to also ult advantage, have a Bongo now again, but they need to like they need to push, they need to kind of close the gap. And you can see that they are going again, like on this front fight, you can see that they are super close, especially also the Risa. The shield from them is most like into the enemy shield, like this is the shield from the enemy Risa. So what you want to do as a Risa, you want to put the shield into the enemy shield so your team can push far up. And meanwhile, the Reaper is again on this flank and forces now the trance. But think about like if this would be a neutral fight, but they don't have like 20 ults or something, then maybe end it out another way. But it's like just in principle how you want to play this. He forced the trance, then they react on the Reaper, and he just okay. Any other questions for this composition then so far? Like others, like anything else you can think about you would like to talk about regarding this conversation?
I mean, so far everything's making sense to me. I think
Yeah.
this is looking good.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've had actual good coaching, so this is good.
Or
True.
coaching in general.
True.
But
First time we've watched a 15-second clip and it's taken us 20 plus minutes to analyze Smiley's face.
That's good coaching though. That's
That's good coaching. Yeah.
That's good coaching. Good coaching is when you take time to explain something. Come on.
So everyone understands, even the Papagas like that.
And me.
right.
Yeah.
Lol.
And if you
Not-
talk, and maybe like also if you talk about the ultimates again, like, I guess Bongo. I mean,
Bongo
it's,
repeats.
you just like you want to use the Bongo to support you when you're in the fight. Like I don't think there's like 300 IQs tried to use Bongo in this moment because of this. Like, it's not like that. It's not like you lack damage, you know. Like
Yeah.
with the Bongo has even more damage. Yeah, hooray! But you don't even want to break the shield. It's also like also what a lot of like especially what a lot of people what I see a lot is the enemy or Orisa in general the comp like this is like don't know Eichenwald at the bridge, you know, and the enemies Orisa like they are playing something like Poke or even if they play the same, the Orisa's just shield here and then here and then here, and it's like what the hell like.
Just
It's not
put your
about shield
shield.
break. Like you don't play it about shield break. You don't have even have damage with shield break, like on this long range. So you want to put one shield maybe here. Obviously, again, it depends so much on the situation, what they have, cooldowns and all of this stuff. But in theory, you want to shield here once, and then you say, okay, we push now. Poof, speed boost Lucio, Diva defense matrix, and next shield is here. And then the team doesn't really care about shield. You go into that like a Reaper. You know, Reaper may take this spot or like they take angles if possible from here and here, or maybe even from behind the Reaper if he has both cooldowns ready. Um, but this is like a win. You know, this is a win case. You do ignore the shield, and also like in Moira stuff, you lose you just go through the shield and then you heal again. It's not about breaking the enemy shield. Yeah, and this is also like so Bongo. I could say you just use it. I guess you can break with the shield, but it's not really a win condition. So I have no idea how to use Bongo. Like what the pro is doing, I would just say use it if you push. Maybe like a Coalescence. Like Coalescence also just as a support ultimate. It's not really like it's not that strong. You just want to basically cut this way, like you know, when you're here in this bridge again, what you can do is you Coalescence, you can cover yourself this area and support. Like maybe make some low force cooldowns, like force cool like Ana nades, force lamp, fortify, things like this. That's what you can do to set up the kills for the Reaper.
Yeah.
The death blossom like or the Lucio Lucio beat is the same. The Lucio beat is you want to kind of sustain your team that the Reaper can stay the fight or stay aggressive, even though he used his shift already, for example. Like it's all about the Reaper, you know. You want to set everything up that he can do them. Yeah, and the May like the May ult and Reaper ult. I also don't really know that much how the best way is to combine it. Some say you want to do it together. I don't know. Like I really like I don't have like a strong opinion about this. I would say it's situational again, but I guess you can work with both. You know, like you just freeze the diva, then you make the May ult, then you death blossom. This is necessary. I would say depends on the May ult. You know, like if you freeze 6 people, you don't want a Reaper ult, but if you freeze one and it's not enough, I don't know. Like I have no strong opinion about using these ultimates together or not, or alone, or with Coalescence, or I don't know, with a Bongo.
For B, would you use it for if they like Mayon or if they Reaper, or would you just save it for like a
Engages.
engagement? Yeah, engagement.
Yeah, it depends again. Like it sucks that I always can say like you know it depends on the situation, but it is basically like this sadly. Like this composition May Reaper is not really a composition where you have to plan a lot or a huge strategy behind it, like or a huge macro game. Like you know if you think about Double Sniper, for example, they have you talk about angles, you know, also in game which angle takes the Widow, which angle takes the Hanzo, what happens if they push him, you know, how do we rotate all of doesn't really matter for them for the
Yeah.
Reaper May composition. It's really like from the strategy point of view, it's really simple. Obviously, again, like it's basically like you said, it's goats. You know, like strategy wise, what goats is super simple. You just brawl on the point, you have point presence and stuff. But what it makes so hard, so difficult, is your cooldown man. And this is where the composition shines, or like which is the hard thing. It's just basically the same in goats. You know, like think about it. Like before you had dive where you just dove them, and think about like position and stuff way more. In goats, you thought about Zaya bubbles. This is one of the biggest things. So it's really changes. But yeah, for your question, I would say you again you think about what you want to do. You want to support your Reaper to be effective. So if your Reaper or like your whole team needs the sound barrier to reach the enemy team, then yes, use it there. Or like if they freeze, for example, and they freeze your Orisa, then maybe it's better to not do it because the Orisa, don't know, you can defense matrix her, you don't need to beat or something, but if maybe if the Orisa is frozen, you can use it. Like really situational how big the freeze is, how the situation is, if it's last fight, how much time you have, ultimates, all of this stuff. Like it's hard to make a general answer for this.
Yeah, we can only wait until and if any comp becomes like goats and is meta for like the next 6 months or some shit. We can only wait until then so we can get mirror mashups and then do rollouts properly, like specifically. We have to wait until like VOD reviews and shit to look at anything we need to talk about with counters and how to roll out properly against and set comp.
Just remember in scrims, it's not all about winning. Like you have to try shit as well, because you never know if you could like try something different and then it might work better than what you did before. So I feel like get the mindset of what we have to win this scrim and we got better time than them, and more into the mindset of shit like, let's practice this and try this, and if this doesn't work, we'll do this, that type of stuff.
Like I said, I still think that
That's small brain. Totally small brain.
I still think that you have not really that many like rollouts with this, and you will never have, even if this would be super mid. Like also we're thinking about the goats, but also with goats, you really not had like special rollouts or something. Like really like rollouts. How do you get to the point? Was mostly more like how how do we use our cooldowns in this moment? This is like the more thing. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Or what like you've made in your don't know whatever topics you had there in meeting?
I have a question. As May in May Reaper, what's the best way I should like? Do I need to be enabling the Reaper as much as possible with like my walls, or like how would I ideally play May in the comp?
With
yeah, like I said,
what mechanic though?
Huh?
What mechanic, Death Boy?
With the wall mainly.
Yeah, because Death Boy's walls are fucking pathetic.
Yeah, because like there's so many different ways to use it, and like.
What, as in like, do you block off their team? Do you get us in? Yeah, when would you use a wall? Would you ever use a wall to help us engage with just a straightforward push? Or would we just need speed boost and a DM? Or like, would we ever use wall to keep someone away if they're not a support? Or
like you primarily use like what you like the first priority basically on the May wall is to say it like in the best general thing I can say is like forcing or like put like you want a wall in a way that you have an advantage on this one character. Like this can be in a lot of ways. You can have an advantage if you wall the healers. You can advantage if you just wall the Reese. But like you want like definitely you want to wall in mid fight. You don't want to wall before. Like like if you want to push them and stuff, your wall is a really good cooldown. Like if you think wait, I just opened my Item. I use it now so many times I can just open the map.
we're looking at map.
So like if you see this bridge, so what like you said, okay, do we use the wall like like here in front of the Arisa shield? Oh my god, take a different color to that we can like reach them, and then we break the wall and then we like kind of shield it. I would say no. Like you want to take this break, like if possible. Like I said, if you can't do it, and you need a wall, then you need a wall. You need to use. But maybe then you can take another angle or something to negate this. You can still do this. But what you want to do most is with the wall is that you wall them off. For example, like if the healers are standing here, you can wall here. It's not only for the healers, also that you that you split the enemy team. You know that the Orisa, the tanks, for example, they are separated from the wall. So this is basically your main usage. And with this wall, you enable also your Reaper. You just say, okay, like in both, you know, if like let's say you're standing here with your composition, and the Reaper say, like here are both healers. Like let's say just 2 random healers. What the Reaper could do is you have your first, like I said, your first shield will be here as a reset. Then the Reaper teleports here. Your Reaper takes this off angle. Then meanwhile, your team pushes to the enemy reset. Let's say the shield is here. So what will happen now? They have to make a decision, or like also like not even making a decision, but they have to react on the Reaper if they see it, or on you. Most teams will obviously focus on the front line here in this case. So that gives the Reaper this off angle that he wants. Remember, he always has his shift to go back to you, so he can pressure the enemy healers, and we can pressure the Orisa. And how do we pressure the Orisa the best in this case? You as a main, if you just wall the escape line. Like the Orisa doesn't want to go here because he or she then gets no healing. Like there's nothing for her, no healing. You know, she will always rotate back into the safety of the healers. That's what you should always do. You know, like if you go back. So you rotate here back. She cannot do this because the wall is there. So you basically enable your team to fight the Orisa, or like at least get a cool, like at least 45 you should get from this. But on the other way also, your Reaper gets a lot of value because he can fight the healers alone. So they are like, usually he should pressure them to use cooldowns like a nade, for example, or a lamp, things like this, to keep them alive. And this is already enough because the moment they have no cooldown, they have no. Think about now with one wall and one Reaper Shadow Step, which is, I mean, you don't use mid-fight, so just say it's just the shift route you use. You basically trade 2 cooldowns against 3 cooldowns. And because of your sustain with the Moira Lucio, or in general, your whole composition is about sustain, self-sustain also, you can, like, you have advantage in this neutral fights where no cooldowns. Like, if nobody had cooldowns, you have still advantage because your composition with the Moira Lucio is just way better. And Anabaptiste, for example, for sustaining, because Anabaptiste fights with the power comes with the abilities. Moira doesn't have that great of abilities, you know, why you pick Moira is off the left. And so that's basically your primary usage of how you want to use the wall. I hope it explains the best.
Yeah, I understand now.
Like you can also, you know, if there is a possibility, you can also wall you can also just wall here, you know, just to, as I said, if as long as this wall gets any value with like trading cooldowns for the Rita Fortify, like I always say Rita Fortify because it's just the most obvious thing. You can also, don't know, D.Va defense metrics maybe is not enough, but like an Ana nade or a lamp or something, like you want to get value basically. And then again, you have to, like your own Orisa who can again hold here now to push the Orisa back, like things like this. So doesn't matter which character it is, can also be a Roadhog. Like this Orisa, for example, could also be a Roadhog or anything. But that is how you want to use your in synergy with your team. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get that.
Any other questions?
That's probably enough. Sounds like a solid no. That's good though.
It's been.
We have a good insight on the composition now.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Is it ever viable to use bongos when you're down 1 in like a 5v6, for example?
Yeah,
I think,
definitely.
yeah, definitely.
Is it like a beat when it comes down to like winning a fight? Or
I think if you lose a Lucio who's already used all of his cooldowns and like he's probably not gonna do much after that. Like you know he's already speeded you in and you're up close quarters and he gets picked off, then you could probably do it because he's already used all his cooldowns and I don't think he'd make much of a difference anyway. You know, like.
and also, is it like, well, what was I gonna say? Is it overkill to combo anything with bongo? Would you just use Bongo by itself and win a fight, or would you, if they have all their cooldowns and no support ults, they just have all their cooldowns, would you combo anything with Bongos, or is that just a win, like a winnable ult?
Like it depends way too much on this. Like I cannot
If
give
they
you
run
like
a
a general
Miracon,
answer.
they run a Miracon,
Okay, and you use Bongo.
they have
Hey,
all their cooldowns still.
Yeah. Like what does the like what will the Bongo do?
Would
Like
you?
what will this like think about it like this is like now the area where we fight basically. We are here, we push them and we use Bongo now. The enemies are standing here. What do you think will happen the moment you use Bongo here?
It forces them away from LOS of the Bongo.
Yeah, so what they will do is most likely, like, if here's a corner, let's say here's a corner, for example, then they will go back. That means you can push forward, you get the control. You can also maybe control even the corners. And nothing else will happen most likely, you know, like they use the shield here, then they wait until Bongo's over. Do you think this is worth it? Like, do you think this is worth it of a Bongo use?
If we still get LOS from our Bongos while they backed up, then yeah.
Okay, so you want to push them here.
Yeah, if we push around the corner, I'd save it until we push them somewhere where I can get LOS of Bongos while we're chasing them.
But okay, if you don't use the Bongo here at this moment, then they would not go back. Like it's mirror composition. They also want to go into fight close. They only retreat because he used his ultimate.
I'd use, if we're on attack and we're trying to push onto point, so like what a 2CP King of the Hill, like a hybrid point, like first point, I'd use it.
Yeah.
I'd use it to begin with.
The thing is, I would say it's definitely worth it to just basically trade the Bongo for better positioning and for time, because they obviously need to shield here. They need to use something here in this area, because like you said, if you just push, basically with your Bongo, you still have line of sight, you still have extra damage, so they need to defend themselves some. They already got some time because they rotated all the way around here to a position where they can just hide, and you will also push, so they have to wait for until Bongo goes down. Like if not, then you have obviously a big advantage if you just fight normally, you know, like without any other ultimate. So, and they obviously now they're also forced to take the point. You know, like think about this is like the third tick. Like you already have like 2/3 of the point. So maybe they even have to push now into the bomb. But even if not, then they lose a tick. On like in general, they get pressured. And if you're pressured, it's more likely that you make mistakes. And also like the position you have here, like I don't know if you ever talked about like corners and stuff. Like for example, this is a corner, and now think about here. Have you played like you also played together when you played codes? Or like okay.
Yeah.
Most
Yeah,
of
most
us.
of us.
I'm a new boy.
Let's say Zenyatta codes. Like this, you know, this is the corner. Like here's team A, and here's team B. What are like the effective? Or what are the effective? Nah, it's a stupid question. Like the effective sidelines of both Zenyatas, or like in general all compositions, are like here. This is like the B, and this is A. Obviously, you know. So this is where the Zenyatta can help. This is where they can all shoot and stuff. Blah blah blah. And now team B, team B needs to push into us because we have the point here. Like they need to come to us. What will happen is team B basically goes around the corner and the tanks are like here, like it's, or let's say we stay in goats, you know, like it's Reinhardt and D.Va, for example. And the Zenyatta is still here. That means this moment the Zenyatta can still only shoot this direction. But what we can do is that the whole other team, like our whole team shoots in this direction already. Like we already shoot at them, so we have that have time advantage because he's this our Snail is not even it's not even possible that he shoots us because our Reinhardt is obviously playing here with the corner. So this is basically how you, like, and this is also like this whole concept of cornering is like they need some time until the whole composition, whole backline rotates around here and then has the same sideline as the tanks, and this gives you an advantage that playing a corner is always good if they have to push into you. And the same principle, even though it's not that big because you don't have a Sniato or anything like long range, is still the same with your reset composition because again you already have here the shield is also like another thing. You know, you already have the shield. They need to put a shield, so you can just put the shield after them. Like this is also like a big thing, but also like don't know, like May for example, she's maybe a little bit later, 1 second late because she has to turn around here and all of stuff. And also gives you kind of a joke because they again like this is the point. So they need to push through this area. So maybe here a wall at this moment be huge. So this like you know this if you think about this are all things that add up just because of positioning. And all of these things you could exploit, or all of the things they're helping you just because they use the bongo to push them in a worse position. So now back to your question, is it worth it to use like or do we need to use any other ults? If they have no ults, then you can start, you know, with the bongo and they get pressured and then obviously depends on the situation. If don't know you take a bad fight, they use better cooldowns than you, or wall shit, or anything happens, then you can add additional ultimates. Or you, in general, you say, okay, we want to win this fight because it's last. Any other reason we need to win this fight, then we immediately also, or like we also use a Blizzard, for example. So we push them away with the bongo, and then as soon as we're on the point, we just Blizzard here this area. Then they have to go even more back, and we get more point plus or stuff like this.
Okay.
So I would say like yes, it's a bongo can get used for this scenario in this case. So I hope this answers your question.
Yeah, and one other thing I want to ask with bongos is like almost all the time that I bongo in a mirror matchup, like 50% of the time, they send in a D.Va bomb, and like half the time we out track it, half the time we don't, because we don't know how well their D.Va's been doing, and I don't know how to out track D.Vas that well, apart from just counting fights that she hasn't used bomb. Because I don't know how fast she charges it up. I haven't played D.Va that much, but like, is there anything you would say to help me with like not getting bongo fucked by a D.Va bomb, in terms of its positioning, saving my cooldowns, or like just being able to ult track D.Vas easily?
So you wanted your bongo survive. So what is your like? I don't really get what you want to get out of this.
So like,
Like-
do you have anything to say that would help me with understanding, like just ult tracking a D.Va or positioning my bongo in a place where they find it hard to bomb, or just bait out bomb somewhere or some shit?
Yeah. I mean, do you have any idea why they would use the D.Va bomb maybe in this moment?
Well, I think
Like
bongos is like trading D.Va bomb for bongos is like a good trade for the D.Va.
I
And
feel like
plus
if
it
the
stops us from being able to push in and put them out of position.
Yeah. I
feel
think
like
this is yeah. Say it.
I'm sorry. I feel like it'd be to like, let's say you're playing Ike Involved and you got the big tower and you place down bongo and then you go around the corner and send in bomb. It kind of splits, like it's either you can all go one side or like normally people split when they D.Va bomb, so it will break it. People will be split so they can try to maybe get like a May wall or something like that. I don't know. Just thinking. Just mine.
Like I personally have actually never heard from the concept of like you just use the D.Va bomb to kill the bongo. I can also be wrong. Like, I don't like all I'm saying here are all suggestions. Though don't take it as this is the only way it's possible. But I personally have never heard this as a concept because usually what the D.Va bomb is used for other things. Like killing the bongo is maybe like an extra, but in my opinion, is not the reason why you D.Va bomb. Like if you think about like this whole scenario right now, you put the bongo here, and what will happen if they don't use D.Va bomb? They need to fall back. We get that corner advantage and stuff, all this shit. And how they can prevent this? They could use the D.Va bomb, and they just D.Va bomb in this area, so you cannot push. Like the bongo
Okay.
here, they just maintain the position here because you don't have to push. Maybe they can even push with this because you have to run away anyways, and then maybe destroy the bongo like in this case or something like this. But or like they split the team, you know, like. But it's more. I think it's more like they use the diva bomb maybe to like first of time, second like split, or like third maybe even to push,
Okay.
and then you know like 25 like boom. Like in my mind, like I said, that can also be true. Maybe like the bongo is the number first thing that they want to actually kill the bongo. But I think even if you use the diva bomb in this area, like let's say you use the diva bomb that lands in this area, even if you shield your bongo, like even you put your bongo here, you know, which would not be not that effective because as soon as you go to the point, like you know, like this is like the point here. So as soon as you use the bongo here, wouldn't be that effective because where you want to fight is like on a point. But this bongo has no range, like you cannot, you know, it's not line of sight. So you want to use the bongo maybe in the open space, if you have the shield in this moment. And like what I want to say is that the diva bomb will definitely destroy your shield, and when the shield is destroyed, you can definitely destroy the bongo kind of easily.
Okay. Fine then. I was just getting paranoid because a lot of the time when a diva bomb would be thrown out, it would be right after I put a bongo. Don't know if it was like intentionally for the bongo or not, or like anything else. I didn't know if that was a good trade for the diva players.
Yeah, Diva
Yeah.
Bomb in general is basically a defensive ult nowadays. Like anytime the enemy has like an offensive ult like that isn't immediately counterable, like say if they use a Reaper ult, you can't Diva Bomb the Reaper ult, like you're dead. But if you hear the Genji bleed, you can just drop your bomb and tell everyone to play by the bomb. The Genji's fucked. You know, it's kind of like a pseudo defensive ult. So that's where like the other divas in their head they're like, if they use this bongo right, they could fuck us. So I'm just going to yeet the bomb at them so they can't immediately use it and get much value out of it. Like, the diva bomb's kind of good like that now.
Okay.
Because that's how they used it in Goats before Goats died. That's how they started using it like near the end because they started realizing like the grab bomb combo it's good, you know, it's good, but wouldn't it be better to just save our bomb for when they grab so that they can't do anything? It kind of makes sense. So we could try and start using diva bombs defensively to counter ults, you know. So
Okay.
that like, if they use May ult, we could yeet a bomb at them, you know.
Like I said, you can in some scenarios maybe also use it to push. Like you know, if you, for example, what maybe a combo would be is diva bomb, and bongo. That you say, uh, you push here, so you bongo, and in this moment you also push the diva bomb in this area that she explodes here. So what it happens is that prevents, like, you know, what they usually want to do is they want to hide from your bongo because they have a disadvantage if you if you fight with your bongo, but they cannot retreat, and maybe even they also has to shield this. So this would be like the cooldowns you force with this, you know, basically. And from this, and maybe you can maybe even May wall here, so they cannot retreat at all, and then just put. This would be like one option to use them together, for example. But this is also, if you think about it, you use 2 ultimates for 1 cooldown, maybe, like 1 research shield. The question is if it's worth it, and also like obviously you get a huge advantage of positioning and stuff, but it's always like, you know, like you obviously don't think about all of this in a game, but you know, if you have the time to think about, if you think about before, if you even want to use this combos, you have like in your head, okay, we can do this in a scenario like this, but is it worth it if it's not?
If
If you
we
need
were
to
like
fight like,
alt disadvantage, you'd say you'd never use it, right? So if that we got only these two odds and they got 3 or 4, we wouldn't use this, or would we? Or like alt advantage, or we're alt neutral. So we got 3-3, or like 2-3, or maybe 4 and 2 alts.
again, you know, it depends so much on what they have, what you have, which compositions. if you like, you know, this maybe this position here, like this move of bombing in this area, bongo in here, gives you an advantage that you can fight against 3 ultimates because they're in just such a bad space. You know, maybe this is worth it, and you can even win the fight out of this against 5-6 ults. But it also comes so much down on the individual players and like cooldowns. Just try it. Just scrim it, try it, see how it works, see how effective it is, see how consistent it is. And if you think, okay, this is something we can like take, you know, as ultimate combo, then you have your answer. Like in general, like, you know, this is like we talk now a lot of theory stuff, but how many times did I said it's situational? You have to just play it and figure it out on your own and like practice it, and this will not come from like one skim. Now that you know it, you will not like immediately have it.
Yeah.
Also, like this flanking from like the May maybe can flank a little bit if she has the shift. If the Reaper can maybe teleport behind them because he has the shift. You have to like, you know, do it a lot and die a lot, and then you know when you can do it and when you cannot do it. And also like, you know, maybe in the what view you can think about, okay, is it worth it in this situation? You know, like if the May gets a huge wall, do I really need to teleport behind them, or can I just keep shooting at the tanks because they're walled? So it's a lot of practice, like a lot of gameplay, a lot of playing, and it's like goats. Like this composition is mostly about cooldowns, not about strategies or like rotations or anything. That's why a lot of teams also playing this because they're so good with like from the goats meta. Yeah. Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
I mean,
It's good.
if any of the supports want to ask anything, because we've done quite a bit of tank and DPS, supports want to say some shit real fast.
Well, to be honest, I think I know what I'm doing as Lucio at this point.
Yeah. Just if John wants to ask anything, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have you played Moira for shit?
No, I haven't. What's my job besides healing? If there's anything else I can do, like, am I just supposed to be a heal bot or what?
As Moira.
As
You're
Moira,
Yeah, as
Oh, okay.
Moira.
Just heal low.
If you don't
yeah, I
have
mean,
to heal,
obviously you're the
better
healer.
roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, Moira doesn't have much utility
Yeah.
though. To be completely honest.
That's the thing. Like think about the Ana, for example. You know, you have the
Yeah.
nade, the sleep. You
Yeah.
have way more things. As Moira, obviously your main purpose is the healing.
Yeah.
Obviously.
The
And you
only
also,
way I
yeah.
go on.
No, like if you like, for example, if you play dive or something, the Moira can also force away like something like a Tracer or like a Genji. You can, you know, force them away. Against the Reaper May, you maybe don't want to take this duel. Like it's because of the characters, like because of the sustain and stuff. It's really hard for you to like do individual plays. You know, like you want
Yeah.
to basically mostly support the team doing stuff, but you on your own, you're not a playmaker. Not like
The
Ana.
the only way I can see Moira doing stuff outside of healing is using Coalescence to kill bongos.
I was gonna say, like,
Because
if you
like if you look
coalescence
at
to move
Moira's
your
kit
bongo.
compared to other supports, like Lucia's speed boost, Anna's anti-nade, sleep, so Moira's kit is just like healing. So
One-dimensional.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
healing.
The
But
best way to put
how
it is like
can-
every other character in that category is a support. Moira is just a healer. She's just a healer. All she does is heal, sometimes damage. The most utility you can really see out of her is like maybe baiting cooldowns with her fade. That's
fucking
that's the
So
most.
Coalescence can
how
destroy
Yeah,
bongo
coalescence,
too.
but even coalescence is just damage and healing. It's just the two things she can do, you
You
know.
can get rid of bongos though, and that shit pisses me off. When
That's
that
true.
happens.
That's true.
Like the coalescence, you can also use
It's good
especially.
against Pharmacy.
Yeah, like
That's why it's so
depends.
confusing for me how she's meta. Just like there's no utility. Anna can like anti and shit. She's so fucking good, but then Moira's like nah, coalescence.
Because
Because
Anna
you know what's a shield? Am I right, guys?
I think the problem with Ana
Never
is
heard of
because she can only heal one target at a time and she has
Mhm.
reload. Probably.
Yeah.
And like
I think that's why Moira's played over her.
when you
Like,
are in the other Orissa's shield, like the Ana can't really heal you, because she can't shoot through the shield. When with Moira, she can kind of get up close and heal you and shit, and then fade away to, do other stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Like with the core, especially with the coalescence, you want to use it to also bait out cooldowns. Like obviously to support your team, like in the healing, but also to force out, fortify, put out nades, lamps, any cooldowns. And like I said, this composition is like goats. You want to force cooldowns, and then you you have to track also those cooldowns. You need to communicate about like the Orisa have fortified. If not, it's like a huge opportunity for like if the Orisa has no fortify, then your Orisa, like you speed boost, your Orisa puts the shield in the nose of Orisa, and the Mei and the Reaper freeze like plus left click on her, and she's dead, hopefully.
Mm.
And this is like, and how can you do this? Yeah, maybe if like also mid-fight situations, that you just force out nades from the Ana to heal herself or push her away, or like again like fortify, or self-healing from the Roadhog or anything like this. Depends on what they have.
Okay.
I just thought of two more quick questions. Just while you're speaking there. The first one is we were talking about pretty much every single time we've been talking about like going in as a comp. We talk about speed boosting as Lucio, and going in, but that's on attack. On defense, do you think it's better to have a Lucio or a Baptiste?
Definitely. Like,
Lucio.
okay, definitely Lucio, I would say, is like the first answer I have. If I think about it, again, I guess there are options
Max?
where you can play with a Baptiste. I would mostly say the Ana because like of the nade and stuff. But this again depends a lot against what you would play against. Like for example, if you play against a Fire Mercy, maybe you can switch this and instead of a Reaper, you have a McCree and an Ana, which has basically, you play with the same win condition, you play still the same style, you want point presence and stuff, you want to, like, in this case, the Mei wants to wall off angles. Like, think about Nepal, the village, where you have like two entrances. It's basically the same, like the Mei wants to wall off the Farah. And maybe in this case, if, let's say, Ilios, the lighthouse, we have more angles, maybe you can take there. Like if the Farah is really that big of a problem, then you can maybe try it with a McCree. And maybe if this doesn't work, maybe an Ana, to even support her even more, to put more pressure of this. Obviously, it weakens your point composition in like this, like close range fights, but it's all you can also swap, and maybe this is also a composition with goats. If you think about goats started with Moira, and then at the end everybody played Zenyatta. So maybe this will also evolve, like that you always play now with Moira, and later you played with Ana, and then at some point it's maybe with Zen. But yeah.
Yeah, Max. I was talking to Max about like the same thing about running Lucio, and he said you want to run Lucio with any comp that needs to create space.
Okay. I got one more question. This is like, this shouldn't be difficult at all to answer. What do you think are the most important cooldowns and just a mirror bunker comp to call out? Like in Goats, you would always call Zara used personal or she used project it.
Yeah.
And you would always call, oh, D.Va has no boosters. But like, what are the most important cooldowns in this new comp to call out?
I'd say Fortify and Wraithful.
Yeah.
Fortify
And walls.
Yeah, well,
Oh, yeah,
well,
walls.
you don't really have to
Yeah,
call
but,
it
like,
wall, though. It's
everyone's-
kind of visual, isn't it? you can get
Yeah,
this.
it is
No, you
visual.
can, no. Actually, I want everyone to call when a wall's up, because I'm Orisa,
Okay.
right? I'm looking forward. I don't see when a fucking wall's popped up
Yeah.
behind me, and I
Oh,
won't
yeah, I
be able to
suppose.
hear
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Call when everyone's
wall is-
walled up.
yeah,
or
you
something.
I have been
And
trying to do
Chiron.
that. I've been trying to do that, but yeah. So Wraith, Wall, Fortify,
There's cause like
Coalescence,
fucking
no Coalescence, Fade as well for Moira.
sure,
one of
but
those
then how are we gonna
I
be in a
mean-
position where we get the Moira anyway?
Most things which save people is probably what you should call, which they use like ice block for Mei. If you see she uses it,
Yeah.
it's easier to kill her, obviously. So stuff like that. Like,
I'm just saying Fortify, Wraith, and Wall, because they're priority shit. You kill an Orisa, you win. You kill a Reaper, they got no damage, so you probably win.
If you kill their Mei, they have no disruption though.
Yeah, but then
Yeah.
again, if we're on a point already, like shit can happen as well.
Male as well, she can get it really quickly now in this meta.
Yeah, right clicking, yeah, left clicking, I don't know.
Yeah, as you notice, like there are a lot of things. In general, I would also say like everything, especially you as Lucio, can like you can benefit a lot if you know which cooldowns are out. So like obviously again it depends. You know, if they play like Fire Mercy, then you don't need to call out that Horizon Shift because it doesn't matter. But
Yeah.
like say double sniper who has no grapple, like call it out. You know, if there's somebody sees it, but it's not that big of like not important as Orisa 45 because what you do is playing the front line. Maybe the Reaper can go for the Widow in this case, or the Devo, I don't know, but like you know, you can use it, but it's not that important. What a big part of you as Lucio is in this composition is that you want to act on which cooldowns they have. For example, if we force out the Fortify, like we talked about now about so many ways to force out the Fortify of Orisa, what you can do after this is you just Warlight and boop the Orisa into your team again.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they're holding here and stuff, because again, like we are playing aggressive also. Like we are right behind you, and like you also know it from the goats thing is that you want to play in this case in this composition aggressive Lucio that you boop him into us again. It's the same with a May, the same with a Reaper. Just you know,
Yeah.
you want to use a boop to give us the opportunities to wall them, to kill them, to use like to even force cooldowns. You know, if you boop the Orisa into us and she used Fortified, yeah, it's amazing. You know,
Yeah,
then
she's dead. Like there's nothing she can even do about it.
yeah, like
Actually,
if she doesn't die because she has Fortify, like if you know if you just boop her and then she gets Fortify and she fortifies this, she is no threat for us anymore in this moment, and she has used the cooldown, and we can push more. We can maybe even wall her and follow up on this stuff, but this
yeah.
is like what you want to do as Lucio mostly. Did you play really like aggressively? Obviously, as much as you can. You still have the huge threat of a May. You have the threat of a Reaper, which also like a lot of damage. And maybe if there's other composition in McCree, then you want to be more defensively and stuff. But yeah, this is your
Okay. So basically, just as soon as they have a cooldown that has been used, and say if they don't have anything that can punish me, just go aggressive as fuck and boop them into my team. So say
yeah.
if Moira uses Fade and she's frontlining, I just walk right over and boop her into my team, something like that. Or if
Yeah.
Orisa uses Fortify, May uses Lifelink, anything like that to try and be aggressive and boop into team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I see what you mean.
yeah, and also like just remember this. Uh, you play it basically, like I said, as goats. So what you want to do is you still can rotate at the start to like force high grounds. Like it's just I just really want to show this because of the rotation. Like you know they
Yeah,
rotate all the way to the left just because they want to force them here away from the high ground.
yeah, this is
Like
like
this high ground.
this is something that actually kind of annoyed me when you were showing us the clip earlier, because like I was sitting there wondering why the fuck is Animo letting them take that high ground? Like, because whenever they were over, whenever NYXO was on the right side, and I think it was May, Baptiste, and Diva were all on the high ground, I got so annoyed that Animo and Mego didn't just like yeet themselves onto the high ground to force them off. That really annoyed me. High ground
I mean,
control is so powerful.
yeah, I mean, there's still you know a roadhog, but which is not especially at this level scary for Lucio to just go around. But yeah, like this, you know, they also did this, so it's basically really like you play the goats that you want to force them away from icons and stuff, and just not to stay there, but just that they don't have it, you know, because it's way better if they don't have it. And
Yeah.
also maybe like you know for a Reaper player, like for example, if in some scrims or stuff, you know, look where the enemy Reaper is. And he faked this at the start, like they all rotated. Like they all rotated.
But he didn't.
But he didn't. He just stayed there, and obviously you will not. Like it's really hard for you to notice this. And he just shadow step to the side, and he knows that obviously if they going this way, that they will rotate because again their win condition is range. They want to pick like the biggest range. Like this is the most amount of space they can get. So obviously they go in this direction. And if the team here would be faster, I actually don't know why they rated so. Maybe because Mega was so low, but even then, this is the win condition in this case. You speed boost just to them, and then the Reapers are behind them, and this will force cooldowns and stuff, or at least this will force attention so that the moment go in this area, like they cannot shoot in this direction because they have to take care of the Reaper. And then you trade kind of like one shift, like one Reaper shift you trade against a great position. Because then they have no range.
I think it would definitely force Immortality Shield if you're going onto the bat, like,
Oh yeah.
and then you just Wraith form out. You know they've used Immortality, you can get out close without them.
Like
having
here
all
they
the-
wait too long. This is the biggest
Yeah.
mistake. Because already fighting, obviously they can all
Yeah,
intimidate,
they're already
try
on
and
him.
be
He's already
fast.
used Wraith. He's dead.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that like they took too long there, but
But
it's a
again,
decent idea.
yeah, again,
It
you
was a
know,
good
you
initial
talked about
start.
about the Mei wall usage. Like again, look, the reason, right? Like she gets folded here, so that's why she flies in the air, and she comes down. And what the Mei wall again, you know, you just want to split them, have your target, and this is now yeah, you go for the freeze, you force fortify. This is how you want to use the Mei ulti, Mei wall in this case. Yeah.
Nice. That's been a good 2 hours by now. I
Holy
think.
shit! It's been 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Damn. No,
Brutal.
wait, what?
No, wait, it
not
hasn't.
2
It's been
hours
2 hours.
20,
Never mind. It's just
just
been 2
2
hours.
hours.
I thought for a second I thought we started at half 7. It's been 2
We
hours.
started like quarter past.
It's been
Yeah.
almost 2 hours.
Crazy.
Fun time. Probably.
We can maybe call if you want to, or we could.
I feel like my brain's expanded.
Yeah,
My brain's
I feel
become
like
my brain has extra wrinkles.